ladies and gentlemen, for this week's episode of Cream of the Crop podcast. I am joined, as always, by Fake and Olas. We are recording on August 27th, and this is going to be a bit of a rougher beginning to the podcast. For those that are unaware, and if you are, I don't understand how, because it's been all over the internet for the last 4 days. This week in wrestling, we lost two very great people. On Wednesday, Mr. Terry Funk passed away due to dementia. He was 79. And then Thursday, we were told via Triple H's Twitter that Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, unfortunately has also passed away. This has kind of shocked the world because, I mean, the last I heard, he was in the preparation of making a comeback. From what I've seen, it seems that he was pulled from TV due to a COVID issue, and that caused, or I guess either caused or brought to light some underlying heart issues. And even though he had made a recovery from the COVID and was actually set to come back, he unfortunately had a heart attack and passed away. So the beginning of this podcast is going to be kind of a remembrance to him, but before we get into that, I did want to say to the Rotunda family, to Mike and Bo and JoJo and their kids, from the Cream of the Crop podcast, we send our condolences and our prayers for you during this time. We could not imagine what you're going through, and we send all the love as many others have throughout the internet. So I just wanted to say that. So we're going to do some remembrance stuff, but before we do that, there's actually a tweet I want to read. And Olas actually shared this, and I thought this would be awesome to kind of read on podcast, because oddly enough, it comes from Wyndham. And this was tweeted out last year, actually the same month last year, oddly enough. And I think it fares very true, and I think it's part of the reason the three of us are doing this and are here. And the tweet says, "Wrestling is not a love story. It's a fairy tale for masochists. A comedy for people who criticize punchlines. A fantasy most can't understand. A spectacle no one can deny. Lines are blurred. Heroes are villains. Budgets are cut. Business is business. It can also be a land where dead men walk. Where honor makes you elite. Where demons run for office. And a rock bottom is a reason to rejoice." I don't know if I can do the Ric Flair woo justice, but we'll go with that. It's an escape, a reason to point the blame at anyone but yourself for 2 or 3 hours, an excuse to be a kid again, and nothing matters except the moment we are in. Wrestling is not a love story, it is much more. It's hope. And in a world surrounding in hate, greed, and violence, a world where closure may never come, we all know a place that has hot and cold hope on tap, for better or for worse. And I think that's an excellent, representation of, I think, why we all enjoy what we enjoy in this business. And when I read that, it really kind of encompassed the reason I even kind of started this podcast with these guys, is that, this is something that has been a joy for all three of us, and we have shared separately and with each other. And I thought would be the best way to share it with people on the internet as well. But I hope you all enjoyed that. So we're going to start talking about Bray, because he deserves it, and he was a class act. From what I've seen all through the week, everybody has had wonderful things to say about this guy. As far as he always seemed like a class act in the ring, out of the ring, was a father to two beautiful children. And I know it, or is it 4? Okay, I was thinking it was 2.
He has 2 from previous marriage.
Gotcha.
And 2 by JoJo Offerman.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I don't know which one if you would like to start, but we were going to kind of talk about some of our favorite Bray moments, and then kind of some of the other stuff he's done as well. But I know we each kind of had a specific reason or specific thing we liked about Bray. But I guess, Porto, you can go first.
All right. I guess what it all comes down to is the fact that he was a creative person. What really pulled the Eater of Worlds was a great character. It didn't drive me to it, but what really made me interested in Bray as a creative genius was the Fiend character, as he repackaged himself and became this new mystical character that we really haven't seen since The Undertaker. And the best example of that is SummerSlam and his debut against Finn Balor. The presentation, the music, like becoming a new monster and parading around the severed head of his previous character. Um, it it was a great moment, and it just capped off a somewhat great run of the Fiend. I know it was kind of ruined by a bad event, but no one ever held it against Bray for that, and like it showed by everybody being in support of Bray. Um, never really got, because he's gone. We may never get to see the full resolution of what that story of the creators of the characters he created. Like we'll never see that end goal of that because it's still left undone because he was let go for budget cuts and then brought back under a new regime. But
Yeah, I mean, that is a huge shame. The Fiend would have been, I think, easily would have been the Undertaker / Kane of our, or well, I guess not of ours, but end of ours, beginning of the new generation. And I mean, even to the point of kind of the moment him and Undertaker shared at SummerSlam.
Raw 30.
Raw 30.
Was that what it was? Or was the glow in the dark match, or prior to the glow in the dark match with LA Knight?
So that was the Royal Rumble. So right before the Royal Rumble,
Okay.
the 30 years of Raw.
You know, throwing him into the Sister Abigail, which, you know, even being an LA Knight fan, I still think that was pretty cool. Yeah, no, I agree. I hate that we're not going to get to see where that story would have gone, because it just, with his creative mind, you never know what the next step would have been. Hell, I don't even think sometimes he knew what the next step was going to be, but he just went with it. Oh, that's what you got.
Yeah, I'll be honest. His long-term storytelling and the way he could, and you saw it a lot with the Fiend, with the Firefly Funhouse, how he brought aspects of his character into those puppets. You know, the whole Huskus being the Husky Harris, getting on him about his weight. Mercy the Buzzard, because he kind of came across like Waylon Mercy a little bit back in, you know, if anybody remembers from the 90s. Rambling Rabbit, because a lot of people didn't understand his character when he would speak, and you know, if you weren't paying attention, it sounded like he was talking about nothing.
Yeah.
All of that was really cool, and that idea that had floated around about him bringing like a group together would have been really cool. I can only hope when he's ready to come back, and you know, when he's in the right frame of mind, his brother can maybe help carry that on. That would be great. I mean, I was a big fan of his. Yeah, obviously, I wasn't a huge fan of like Husky Harris.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a him thing. That was a creative / booking / you know, everybody in the Nexus kind of got a raw deal kind of thing.
Oh, what do you mean? They all had amazing starts to their careers. Heath Slater, I mean.
Oh yeah. But when he repackaged himself as that cult leader in NXT, and he was cutting those promos, and his in-ring debut as Bray Wyatt, he came to the ring cutting a promo. It was captivating. It like really just kind of brought you in, and you were like you couldn't look away. Like no matter how much you wanted to like do something, you were like, no, I gotta watch whatever he's doing. And I was just a big fan of his. I mean, obviously everybody's gonna say that when shit like this happens, but um, I always rooted for him, even when you weren't supposed to. Any character change he went through, I was with it. And when people were shitting on the initial Firefly Funhouse stuff before the Fiend appeared, and people were shitting on it online, I was like, nope. I trust this dude to tell a story. You can clearly see something was brewing. Those first couple of episodes of the Firefly Funhouse were like must watch TV because you were like, what is he gonna do? That first episode, he takes the chainsaw to his old persona. That was awesome. Um, there was one the second episode, the end of the second episode, when he was doing the I'll always light the way and all you have to do, and he got this like real deep sinister look in his face and just let me in, and I was like, oh fuck, all right, we're doing something good here. Like
Yeah.
something's gonna happen, and yeah, I mean, again, we talked about it offline. Him winning that WWE title when he was still the Eater of Worlds at Elimination Chamber. I mean, the reaction that he got, the following SmackDown when everybody's just chanting, "You deserve it." Like this dude really had everybody just kind of gravitate towards him, and to find out that, from all accounts, that he was just a massively fantastic human being on top of it makes it all the better.
Makes it all the harder too, though. Unfortunately,
Well,
it's easy when the pieces of shit go away, but when it's somebody that genuinely deserves to be here,
and we said this offline too, and this isn't to downplay Terry Funk's passing by any means, but he was 79 years old.
Yeah.
Right? Like at some point, not to say you expect it, but you're
You've
not
lived your life.
shocked, right? This dude's my age.
Yeah.
I'll be 36 next month. Like we were born a couple of months apart. Like that's insane to me to look at that and go, I'll be 36 in October. He just passed away at 36. Like,
yeah. Yeah, it definitely it puts a lot of things, puts a lot of things in perspective,
Yep.
unfortunately. And my heart still breaks for it because you see something like that and you just know that it was too soon. That guy had too much ahead of him that we won't get to see now.
It just kind of haunted me when you think about it when he talked about John Huber, also known as Brody Lee, as he looked forward to being 70 with him doing the same gimmick in Jim Hall. And now they're both gone tragically.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's what, just to think that how long's it been since Brody passed? Just like not even
3 years.
2020. Yeah.
2020. That's what I was thinking. Another fantastic, by all accounts and everything I've seen, another fantastic human being,
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing where, they did an interview with Bray. This was shortly after I think Brody had passed. And they asked if he would ever do the Wyatt family again. And he just said that died with Brody. Because he couldn't do it. If he wasn't there, it wasn't the Wyatt family, and that to me says a lot about who he is and his character when it comes especially to the people he cares about. And even what's been cool is kind of just learning the connections he had with some of these stars that you wouldn't have thought, like Seth Rollins. Apparently him and Seth Rollins were super close.
Zelina Vega sharing a story about her tryout and Bray being a big supporter of her.
And that's been awesome. Yeah, that one surprised me too. I didn't expect the Summer Rae one.
Her showing a video of how the original Wyatt family looked and how she was a part of it.
That's right. Yeah, I remember seeing that circulate. Yeah, I forgot that they had. Because I guess she'd have been the Sister Abigail, I guess. If they
no, it was before the Sister Abigail, but it would have been more cult, like less Swamp Family, but more like he attracted people. from all stretches of life. 'Cause-
No, he was a perfect version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family in a wrestling ring. That's what the Texas Chainsaw should look like, not whatever fucking Jeff Jarrett's putting out.
Did you guys see the Big E tweet?
No, I have not. Did he? I hadn't seen him yet. I try to keep up with whoever, because I mean, shit, it's been everybody.
Yeah. He just posted this today because he had already posted something about, I guess, the day of or the next day, about how Bray was kind of like the first guy to take him under his wing when he got there, and kind of help him out. But he just posted this, and I thought this was really cool. This was earlier today. It goes, Wyndham was a state champion wrestler in high school and grew up a couple of counties over from me. We were supposed to wrestle at a dual meet during the 2002 to 2003 season. I was at 215 and he was a very powerful and skilled heavyweight. I didn't want to bump up and we both accepted forfeits because our schools didn't have anyone in our respective weight classes. Once we became coworkers, he'd regularly hit me with that trademark warm laugh and tell me I dodged him. He wasn't wrong.
I mean, that's even, the Husky Harris said, I hate that that's how they wanted to package him, because we were talking about this before we hit record, is that, just the change of him going from Wyatt to, the Fiend character, like, this guy was massive, and not in a bad way, like fucking a lineman size, but still in decent shape, to think, because I saw a video where it was, I guess, a live event, and there was a kid that wanted to see him that I guess didn't get to, and the guy comes, of course doesn't have to, but he comes back out and opens the gate and comes out to actually stand next to the kid, and it's just like he's hulking over this guy, and the kid and the dad's like, Jesus Christ, man, you're huge, I guess at the time he was like 323, which, I mean, you can still be 323 and look, good, depending on your size, but it always be, you never really thought about it because he was with Brody and he was with Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman, who are, they're big guys. They make him look small, and no, he's just as fucking huge. No, I'd still say, though, what got me into, I always liked the Bray Wyatt character, and I like the Wyatt family, but I still, God, the Randy Orton run with them, where like you kind of went back to, you almost kind of had Legend Killer Orton, but without the motive, and just the interactions with him and then with Brody as well, where they just, God, man, there really wasn't a guy this dude couldn't work with and make that gimmick work, because you had Orton, you had, I think, Danielson for a little bit.
Actually, if you think about it, part of the Yes Movement wouldn't be as big as it was if it wasn't for Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
As him breaking away from the Wyatt family on that episode of Raw was one of the biggest pops of either one of their careers at that point. John Cena working with him twice.
Yeah. And I'll still say, and it was COVID, I did enjoy the little TV match they had.
Firefly Funhouse.
I thought that was pretty cool, and it was an interesting take, where of something of like, oh, what is this going to look like? And, it really was 10 times better than I think anybody would have thought it was going to be.
He still should have won at 30, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But that was his full circle moment. Like,
yeah,
he had a knack for trying to make everything come full circle with his storytelling.
Yeah. I still would love to see where they were going to go with Bobby Lashley. I would have been very interested to see what that would have, because God, I still have it saved somewhere of the Muscle Man dance. Like, I still love that. That's just fucking great. Like, it's just such a simple thing that just was such a great kind of promo cut of making fun of Bobby Lashley, in such a funny way.
Who else could have gotten away with a Vince McMahon puppet?
God, yeah, that too, yeah.
A Vince McMahon with devil horns.
Yeah.
Puppet. Like, that's...
I love this shit.
And that, yeah, so right after that Moxley interview, and then they do that, and this is such good shit.
Shit.
And it's like, yeah.
Um, thinking about it, did they ever talk about w- the production, like the movie he was making
No,
before he
No.
rejoined? Because that might be the last thing we see him in.
because I remember there was there's like gonna be like a see no evil with Kane kind of thing of like
No, this was not actually. It
It's an
wasn't a
independent
WWE.
movie.
I
In,
did. I hate that I assumed it was a horror movie, but in all
it,
fairness, I mean,
no, it is a horror movie, but it's
Yeah.
outside WWE. This was after he got let go the first time.
This was in between his contracts.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hopefully.
The guy who produced the Fiend mask was helping out with special effects,
Oh wow.
and I just don't know. We haven't heard much about it since he had came back.
I'll have to
And
look into
then-
that a little bit, see if they've said anything about that. No, because if that's the case, I'll 100%. I'll go see that shit. Because absolutely.
I don't know if they ever. I don't know if they finished it or were wrapping up. Because if they weren't able to finish it before his passing, it's just another story that he left unfinished.
Yeah. No, we were.
And
What was it? Unless you had walked away, but Porto and I talked about the him and Roman Reigns moment where he goes to pin the guy and like points just as Roman Reigns spears the guy. Like, oh my
that's
god!
tough.
Like it's just the situational awareness of just adding. Just he didn't have to do that. That's just a
No.
little thing of
Yeah.
like, hey,
It's
Bam.
great. I actually got to watch them wrestle live. which
Oh,
was
really?
dope. Yeah.
oh god, that'd have been awesome.
It was. I think they like opened a Raw, and they like went at it, and I was there, and I was pumped because Roman was another guy that terrible booking as far as like promos and shit aside. I was still a fan.
Yeah,
And Bray, I was a huge fan, and I'm like, oh, yes, and I like that feud. That anybody but you, Roman, like, just the pettiness of that made me happy.
yeah,
Because I can be an asshole in that regard. But yeah, so seeing them feud and wrestle, and then that's what made that match so great was that these two guys that clearly weren't supposed to get along, and then you have that amazing just that point spear 3 count. It was fantastic.
yeah. No, and I will say I thought WWE did a great job as far as the tribute. I think every detail was wonderful. I'm excited, or not excited. It's not the right word. I am happy to see that Eric Rowan got to be there, and unfortunately have to be there for this kind of moment. But that
Yeah.
even though he wasn't signed with them, that they allowed him to be on stage, and because he was a focal point of that group, so there's no way they wouldn't have been able to. But
he's now the last remaining member of the original Wyatt family.
Yeah.
I know Braun Strowman is.
well,
part
Braun
of the
was a
family,
way
but-
later addition, wasn't he? Like,
Yeah. So it really hurts to see that Eric Rowan is the last man standing in the original three.
yeah. Is he signed anywhere right now? I know wasn't there an AEW stint for a little bit, but
No,
then
he
That
was
was-
or not.
He
That
was on
was-
the tribute
yeah.
show and then made a one-off appearance with Death Triangle.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think Pac was injured that week and they needed someone to come in. But other than that, no. I don't believe he'd signed with any direct company for a long-term contract.
No.
Also, I was at a bit of a funny moment. God damn, Olash, you look like Eric Rowan so fucking much. It's uncanny.
A buddy of mine who's a big wrestling fan, the one that's always posting his stuff,
Yeah.
but doesn't really chat much, used to refer to me as Eric Rowan when I would see him in person because my beard, well,
Yeah.
my beard was a lot longer, and it wasn't as gray, but so when it was a lot longer, he time, and I would get like slightly offended. I'm like, listen, I'm better looking. Don't do that to me.
It's guy. I'm gonna have to put a side by side, a still shot of you from here, and do a side by side of which one's actually us.
I'll find a picture with the bigger beard and see if we can match him.
But the Tim Bill salute and kind of going through the career, and you know, Cody Rhodes coming out and saying his good words about, which I had heard that story before actually, because you know, Cody Rhodes is a great storyteller when it comes to stuff that happens behind the scenes of him, and because I believe him and Dusty Rhodes were pretty close.
He was definitely the right guy for that moment.
Yeah.
Oh
for the
yeah,
Terry Funk-
absolutely.
For the Terry Funk tribute,
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes was the next best option. And
The only
so-
the only other person you could have got was like a Mick Foley kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah, which you know,
Yeah.
I did, which I don't know what he's got going on in his life, but I was kind of surprised to not see Mick there for that, because
honestly, with the 1-2 punch of Terry Funk and then Bray, I'm pretty sure he was in the right
Yeah,
space to
and that's
be
probably
out on
fair.
TV.
You know, and of course the Terry Funk hardcore tag team match, which you know was a good match, and I think it was a fun way to
I
kind of
know.
honor him.
It was a PG tribute match.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, you can't do it. Ain't
well, so I also didn't know that because I guess they were in Kentucky.
yeah,
that
yeah, they
you
were here. Yeah,
can't-
so yeah, they were here.
You can't like bleed
Yeah, it's
apparently
annoying.
in Kentucky.
yeah.
Yeah, it's super annoying.
So when people, because I was on Twitter and I was watching people just shit on it, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't a hardcore match." And then I saw people post about it, and was like, "Yeah, you're not allowed to like bleed," so they had to be really careful with the spots that they did.
Yeah, because OVW got fined real heavy. I think they were the ones that caused that rule to go into effect.
Probably.
Because for those who don't know, and this is just because I live here, OVW is from here, and that's, you know, OVW's the thank you have for the Batistas and the John Cenas before the NXT started. They did some wild shit here, like backyard wrestling wild shit, and I think it got to a point that it was getting too much, and they got hit with a bunch of stuff. But yeah, no, I had to explain. I forgot who I explained that to. That somebody was bitching about the Terry Funk thing. I was, well, you know, can't really do a lot of that stuff here now. But I still thought it was a good, you know, good tribute. You know, do a hardcore match and do it the best you can.
They did what they could, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, the video package for Bray was great. I thought that was done wonderfully.
If anything, WWE's production team, when it comes to tribute
my
packages,
yeah,
are amazing. They
It's
do
a shame
not
that we have to like
notice that.
commend them on such a
Yeah.
great thing
Yeah,
because it's so
'cause
more
their production for that whole show was just A1. Because
Yeah.
some of those things you had to think they had to put that together overnight.
that. Closing the show with the lantern.
Yeah, was a
It's
great
silhouette.
touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say the
Good.
silhouette which I had to explain to somebody that it was clearly like angel wings behind.
No, actually, that's
Was that not what it was? That's the gist I
no.
was getting from it.
that
Or
scene
Firefly.
is from that scene is from when Bray first returned, and it was the introduction of Uncle Howdy.
Yes.
I tell you
and
what, you look at that
that's
damn
the
picture.
No, that's the Wyatt Six logo
Gotcha.
on the screen. It just because what it is an upside down moth, I believe. It
Gotcha.
does have wings on the side. That's what you're seeing.
I say it. It was a fantastic fucking 1-to-1
Yes,
of it
great
looking like
visual.
angel wings. I was like, because I saw that, I was like, oh god. I was like, that's yeah.
So yeah,
How did you have that on standby? That was impressive. Look, we're getting good at this, guys. Like, look at this shit.
A bunch of people did get that logo tattooed. I thought that was a really cool touch. I don't have the full list in front of me, but
Yes, I remember. I thought I saw where there was quite a few people got that added, which is, yeah, like I said, yeah, it's sweet.
I know Braun did for sure. That was the first one I saw. But I guess there was a couple other people that did it as well.
I didn't know that actually.
Let me
I
see if
forgot where I
can-
saw the tweet, but I saw a tweet about it, which of course, nowadays you never know what's accurate and what's not.
Yeah,
But it wouldn't have surprised me. I thought LA Knight gave a good promo for it, kind of.
Karrion Kross being another one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Karrion
Yeah.
Kross, Shotzi Blackheart, and WWE director Rob Fee, who was brought in specifically last year to oversee storylines for Bray. Because I guess he was like a friend of Bray's.
gotcha. LA Knight's promo was good. I think it, continued the Miz story, but also paying tribute. And I was playing this earlier. I didn't realize, I didn't even think about that the match she had with Balor was the Fiend's first opponent versus the Fiend's last opponent. And the nice touch by Knight, kind of adding the next time you see me run, was a sweet kind of, for lack of a better term, I guess, bow on the present, if you will. I still feel bad, man. How many of these is Rey Mysterio going to be a part of? Like, this is at least like the 5th or 6th one.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I hate that for him, because that's gotta be rough losing that many coworkers.
At least, well, the last tribute show WWE had, sadly, was for someone who didn't deserve it.
Didn't they do a tribute show for Dusty?
No.
Is Benoit really the last?
Yep.
Oof.
Benoit. It was Eddie, Benoit. If you think about like current, because they only do like big tribute shows for current active wrestlers.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
So,
see, in my head, I remember Dusty getting one because he was one of their like main NXT.
They had his showing at like the picture, and they had the beginning thing, but not like a tribute show.
Gotcha.
So, it was Eddie, then Benoit. People thought Umaga got one, but he wasn't actually active.
Yeah, it wasn't active when he passed away.
Owen Hart got one.
So yeah, the last one was actually Chris Benoit to get a tribute show.
Jesus, yeah.
Man.
So
well, at least that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I guess. And then you have the morons online that are like, "Oh my god, he should." No,
it's here's the thing, and this is the only time I'm ever going to mention this man.
You can respect the work.
Absolutely. The man was a workhorse, still a piece of shit. Hands down.
Paul Heyman said it best. It doesn't matter what he did in that ring. Two people died. Two innocent people died in that house. And it will never change.
Well, what was it? He said it was 3 people died, only one of them had a choice.
Yeah.
That's
so.
And that's the only time we were ever going to mention this guy. So if you ever comment on that, I don't give a shit. You can fuck off, and we're done with that. But a real close to 10 out of 10 SmackDown. So I thought all that was done in great taste. Oddly enough, this was a week for it to happen because there really already wasn't that much going on as far as the shows this week. NXT was NXT. You had Carmelo Hayes and Wesley putting on a good show.
That springboard DDT through the table spot was pretty dope.
Yeah. No, I thought it was I'm really, they're starting to kind of win me over a bit as far as just NXT. I also did like Braun just tearing Wagner in half for whatever reason, I guess. And of course, Braun sporting a shirt that I now feel like I need to get. It's the best spear in the business.
Hopefully for his sake, Cora Jade agrees.
Yeah. Wrestling Twitter really loves Cora Jade now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
If you know, you know.
Did I not? I thought I posted. I didn't post a picture. I just said why. I think I made reference to she's getting ready for a title match opportunity, I guess.
It does.
Oh, the other good match in NXT, I almost forgot. The Dragon Lee and whoever the female was, because I can't remember her name offhand, versus Dominic and Rhea was actually a pretty good match.
Is it Lyra?
Is
that how you say the first name? It's Lyra Valkyra or something like that.
Your
It's
guess is as good as
the
mine.
pronunciation's gonna throw me
I didn't watch NXT, so I didn't.
off.
So unfortunately, it just gives me a last name. It gives me Valkyria.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Lyra Valkyria. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna butcher it, but that's essentially her name.
But no, it was quite a good match. I like Dragon Lee. Reminds me of Dragon from Lucha Underground.
Yeah. Raw didn't really have much in progression of storylines, honestly.
Well, you
minus
had
what
Owens
Seth-
coming back to Quebec. Was it Quebec they were in?
Yes.
Yes.
To no surprise, a huge pop.
Yeah.
I
It
did
did
think,
look like he got injured again, but I hope that was just him selling after.
yeah, wouldn't that be some shit?
Because he looked like he couldn't raise one of his arms. I couldn't remember which one, but Cody went to go lift it, and he kind of like shook his head at him, and he left it alone.
Yeah, hopefully that's just a word, because that'd be a fucking shame. I'll be honest. I mean, the pop for him coming back was great. It was very cool. I'm so tired of the same main event every week of just the Judgment Day losing. Well, more specifically, of Finn Balor losing to the briefcase.
I will have one highlight other than Cody calling JD McDonough a fucking Funko Pop.
Yeah,
That was really funny and uncalled for, but hilarious.
fucking baked his ass.
Finally letting Shinsuke do a promo in Japanese with subtitles.
Yeah,
so
so
that you
I
can
didn't have
actually, like-
subtitles on, and I was very confused watching that
Well,
promo. I'm like, oh, fuck.
They should have had.
No, not for me.
You
Watching
keep
it,
running into this problem, and I don't understand.
I don't know, man. I don't know what it is.
I don't understand how you keep running.
Because I'm sitting there, and I was watching it at work, kind of in between paperwork, and I was like, oh, I'm actually sit down and watch this, and because I had heard that he had given a Japanese promo, and I'm just like, oh, cool, yeah. Don't know what this guy's saying, but you look like you're passionate.
I saw somebody on Twitter call it. They finally gave him an anime villain promo.
It's his
to
anime.
give.
It's his villain arc.
Listen, if it'll let him convey himself, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
If you're in a language problem, like, do it that way, right? Maybe he can't cut a promo in the ring, although he did, right? The week before,
Yeah.
where he started saying stuff in Japanese and then translated English or whatever.
Kind
of, yeah. I thought it would be fully hilarious if he just did it in Japanese with no English, just to be a dick, like when he was doing the original heel turn when he was like no speak English.
Yeah.
Great, do that, right? Because it makes you just come across like even more of a dick.
It's unfortunate because we know they're not going to do absolutely anything well. He's gonna lose to Seth.
Yeah.
I'm
pulling
for him anyway.
95% confident he's losing to Seth.
I'm pulling for him anyway, but I know it's not gonna happen.
Because I feel like at this point, after this, it's either, I almost feel like they're gonna go one of two ways. Either they're gonna set up Cody versus Damian for the briefcase, kind of like they did the Miz and Otis thing.
No.
I think it's a possibility, the way that, especially because he's getting more involved in the Judgment Day stuff. Or it's going to be Seth and him, or like Porto's continuously told me for like a month now, it's going to be Royal Rumble.
Yeah. No, the only reason Cody has been feuding with Judgment Day and being involved in that is because Judgment Day is the top heels of Raw. And there are no other big heels that either make Cody look like there's no one that's on the same level as Judgment Day or Cody. If you have him feud with someone that's low, you don't want to devalue Cody by having him feud with someone lower, but they haven't built up anyone but Judgment Day.
Yeah.
So what if they're possibly building up Nakamura to at least filler Cody after Seth?
I don't think
If they
so.
build him up enough,
Kind of a
If-
number one
'cause they're-
contender thing after he loses.
well, they're making him look like a threat.
I guess.
As
Honestly,
as much as they can after they've already kind of shit. Same thing with what they've done with Finn. It's doable. Not how they tried to fast track Jinder Mahal becoming a threat doable,
Yeah.
but it's
Maharaja.
like,
Um,
yeah, don't just be like, hey, I haven't won a match in 6 years. The title, yeah, let's not do that. But I don't know if they can actually build these guys up, because I'm trying to think of who else, unless he starts feuding with Gunther.
Joke's on you.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be Akira Tozawa after his win against The Miz.
First of all, shout out to Akira Tozawa for picking up a win on Raw.
Shout out to him still being employed. I didn't realize he still worked there.
he's actually in the Heritage Cup finals.
Oh,
Like the
is he?
number one contender for the Heritage Cup.
After the 24/7 championship, I kind of forgot Tozawa still worked for the company.
Yeah. It's weird. Workout regimen is great because he was a very bloated man.
At least he's not wearing that ninja outfit anymore.
Yeah, and it could have been worse.
Again, WWE doubling down. Okay.
Yeah. Remember Omos started as a ninja?
Wait, why don't I remember that?
No, when the whole ninja thing was started, there was a very tall ninja.
You're shitting me. I did not know
Oh,
that.
seriously, yeah. And it was Omos.
Hey, listen, Braun Strowman started as a Rosebud.
Yeah, a lot of them did.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, Braun Strowman being a rosebud.
Selena Vega. Damn, a lot.
Oh my god, why don't I remember this?
Yeah, it's such a weird.
Wasn't
Web of
Justin
people.
Gabriel the bunny?
Yeah, supposedly. I think that's pretty much everything for WWE though. Yeah.
Well, let me look through just before we.
Yeah.
Miz setting up him and LA Knight. Oh, Chad Gable and Gunther. I get so. Is this Gunther's first loss technically?
On
Yes.
the main roster, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Even though
It's a
I mean
count-out
count
loss.
out, yeah, but
The title doesn't change hands, but
was it a title match?
yes,
Yes.
Okay, see, I couldn't figure that out if it was a title match or not.
it was a title match, and Chad Gable went because he won the Fatal 4-Way. So
See,
he got his title match and then timed out. So
See, I fucking
that's why
thought.
they're running it back at Payback.
See, I thought the Fatal 4-Way was for the Payback pay-per-view, not
No.
like a random Raw
Because they're building it up as Chad Gable
could beat
has
him.
a technical win.
Yeah.
That builds up their match at Payback.
Be fine. I know they're not going to, and I know he's probably gonna be
They don't.
honky tonk, and I stand by that. I hope they don't, because fuck it. I'd absolutely love to see Gable come away with that title, beating Gunther. Although I think they're going to continue to build him up more. Powerhouse wise, I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, a Cody Rhodes kind of feud for a bit or something. The match was good though. It was odd because Gunther kind of either has one or two kind of matches. I feel like either a very technical one or like almost a Roman Reigns squash match. But like it looks better, but kind of that just as technical as Gable is, there was a few times where it just seemed like he was just squashing the shit out of it. Like the one you sent me, Olas, the TikTok where it's them, Gable being technical, and then he just tosses him out of the ring. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So, just to clarify, Walter has to remain champion until September 7th. And then at September 7th, he will officially beat the Honky Tonks record.
When is the pay-per-view? The 5th?
Yes. It
Ooh.
is. It actually is.
Ooh.
It's not even the 5th. It's the 2nd.
Oh,
So
It could happen, guys.
that's the thing.
Could
Either he's gonna
happen.
be the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, or he'll be the second longest.
Because I think you could pull it off. Him lose this, and he just it's the Warpath of Gunther. The Ring General goes on.
I would actually like to see a Cody Walter feud.
Yeah, I
Because
wouldn't mind it.
The seeds would be planted from Royal Rumble last year, where he was the
That's
Iron
true.
Man, starting at number 1, and then finally being beat at 30 by Cody.
That's very true. I didn't think about that.
and if Gunther does lose, it'll preserve that longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. Time, its favorite Honky Tonk doesn't want to see this dude.
No, man, we got to keep the Honky Tonk Man alive, bro.
Do we?
Keep him alive. Hey, the gimmick worked back then. Well, I guess it didn't really, but we got to keep it alive. That's 100%. But yeah, I think that is all for Raw, because there's the Candice LeRae thing, but I don't really care.
Yeah, Rhea basically squashing her.
Yeah, which to zero surprise from anybody.
The women's division is very lacking.
Oh, it definitely is. Well, I feel like it's lacking when you're putting people up against Rhea. I think without Rhea, it's fine.
No.
But she's such a powerhouse.
If you have to take out your champion to make the division fine.
Well, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying like that, but just
because who does Rhea defend against if everybody else is just fine?
I still like Raquel though. She is becoming probably one of my new favorite kind of women divisions.
She has a back. That's about it. No, that's her whole character. She has a back.
Well,
and she's dating Braun. That's all I know.
Are they still dating?
I don't care. That's all I know. She has a back and she dated Braun Strowman. Her character, that's it.
No, they are no longer together.
Oh, damn.
What a shame. Hey, I find her attractive. I get it. All right, so yeah, that finishes up WWE for the week. I'm not gonna worry about kind of going through AEW because I didn't watch any of it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Too much shit going on.
If you want to fill us in, because I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was away all week.
Overall, All In for being at Wembley Stadium was a fantastic show. I give it a solid 4 out of 5. Up.
At least say 4 out of 10. That's
no. I wouldn't give it a 4 out of 10. It'll be an 8 out of 10 show. If you want to do that.
Okay.
Match. The must-see match for me would be FTR Bucks 3.
Yeah, it looks good. So from the clip, because like I said, I get a lot of my stuff through TikTok nowadays for AEW. It looked like a good match though. I hate the Bucks still, but
the one spot was kind of weird because don't know which Jackson it was. They were supposed to be flung over the top rope, but they missed. So they basically just flopped back to the ring and then rolled out. But it's okay.
One knows how to go over that rope anymore.
It's not the biggest thing. Best moment of the night would have to be Saraya winning the AEW Women's Championship. Having her come out to Queen, We Will Rock You, coming out with her family, having that special moment after being retired for so long. It's a great moment, and to have everybody in Wembley just losing their shit over it, great moment. The match, it was a match.
A lot of these seem to be were matches,
but building on, hopefully they split. They're splitting up the women's division more, have more single matches, because it seems like the Outcast group is probably going to be over after this.
Yeah, the post media, the press scrum, she kind of
she
kind of made it sound like they were done, unless
at least with Tony Rob was
I
at
will
her
say
feet
that
and bows to her.
Yeah, that curb stomp spot. I don't know what she calls it now. It was
no, it's curb stomp.
No,
You
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
with talking about Brit, right?
Yeah, but
With
Soraya
Paige had her
had her in
in,
that.
like the cloverleaf kind of hold, and
Yeah, so she called it the PTO because it was the page tap out or whatever.
yeah,
But I don't know what she's gonna
she
call it
calls her
now.
the page turn. The rampage is the nightcap. I do not know what she calls her submission.
A nightcap.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
Just still
but
calls it the PTO just because I F you to WWE.
Right.
the STO.
Yeah, the STFU.
A completely different move though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that spot.
Tony eating that
Oof.
curb stomp was actually pretty.
It was a good spot, but man, in my life,
The ending sequence is kind of weird because I feel like it makes Britt look kind of stupid.
oh,
If you just to set this up, basically Sheeta and Britt are in the middle of the ring, basically competing because Britt tries to lock in the lockjaw. So Sheeta flips her to get her shoulders onto the mat. So they're either 1-2 flip. Oh, it might be a tap out. At this time, Tony runs into the ring. Saraya runs into the ring, sprays Tony in the face with the spray can, and hits the nightcap. So they are now beside Britt and Sheeta doing this exchange. Ref counts 1, 2, 3. Britt is in there's no way she could not see everything that was happening at that exchange. So that's how the end of the match goes. It's like, but I get you have to take out those two without actually taking them out.
I mean, you could have taken them out.
Yeah, but
It could have been a thing where they teamed up real quick as one last hurrah.
yeah, worst match. I wouldn't say it's a bad match, but
Stadium
Swerve.
Stampede. Oh.
No, Swerve and Christian Cage versus Darby and Sting.
I could have figured that was going to be the least interesting match of the night.
Sting coming out of Metallica was a nice surprise. Cool. Probably cost a bunch, but I could not care. I could live my entire life without seeing another Darby Allin.
Careful. Oh, looks like Darby Allin.
No. Darby Allin is great, but I do not want to see him in another fucking coffin match as long as I breathe.
Isn't that the only match he has? I thought that was the only thing he did was coffin matches.
No, he's an okay wrestler. I just don't want to see any more coffin matches with him. I feel like once it's a coffin match, I already know he's gonna win. So I feel like, nah, I don't want to see this match anymore. At least for a while. This is the second time Christian Cage has been in a coffin match and lost in AEW, which is crazy because he hasn't been there that long.
They also hot-shotted that fucking thing with AR Fox. So I guess he also had travel issues.
It's actually a mystery of what made him not go. Some people are.
He potentially has heat for it backstage.
Yeah. There is a story going around that he might have lost a family member roughly around this time, and he just wasn't in the headspace, so he kind of just said, "I can't do it." But no one knows the exact story of why.
I do find it really funny though that they hot-shotted this thing to get him out of the match, which I understood to a point.
Yeah.
You have to do some sort of angle for him to not be a part of the match. Same thing they did with
Ray Phoenix,
right?
Phoenix.
Perfectly understandable if you have to.
But why turn him face?
Right, especially when 2-3 weeks ago he had just beat the fuck out of Nick Wayne, bloody.
Left
and
him
then it was
covered in his own blood, and then showed up to the next match covered in his blood.
You're my friend. I support you no matter what. Let's hug it out. And it was like, do you not remember what happened 3 weeks ago?
It's a different
It
show.
wasn't like 3. No, it wasn't even 3. It was 2. They just showed up,
right.
beat
So
Nick
even worse.
Wayne,
2 shows is 6 years of Tony Khan.
Yeah, but nah. MJF retained the AEW World Championship, while also picking up the ROH Tag Championship in the beginning of the show, in their pre-show. Wembley fucking lost their fucking minds over the kangaroo kick.
Yep.
The lamest thing I've ever seen. But
So-
it's
so the
so
same
great
guy-
that MJF can get such dumb things over to the point where they lost their mind. Like he hit the
A double clothesline and
yeah. Oh, you didn't see the? Did you see the double clothesline spot in the main event?
yeah, where they took each other out and then like
Yeah,
pinned each
The
other.
main event
Yeah.
went from good to this is going a bit longer than it should to what am I fucking watching?
What was it? A 40-minute match?
It was at least a 40 to 45 minute match. Because we
That's-
started
I call it
watching it
40.
about
When did
It was like 4.
4 o'clock,
Okay.
and they
and
did
it ended around
the
5.
and I only know that they did the pile driver through the or on the announce table at about the 39-minute mark.
Oh yes.
So 4:15, you sent us the message. Time for the main event, and I think at around
5. It ended at 5. I can trust him.
yeah
So
okay
that
so,
gives 10 minutes. That was like 10 minutes of just post angle.
Yep.
So I give it 35 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a 35-minute match that felt like 50.
We were watching that though. They do the double pin. I go, this is not how they're gonna fucking end this. I go, they are absolutely not gonna end on a
Hey.
double clothesline pin.
Yeah.
yeah
The fact
it
that
was
they
hard
yelled
for
double
me.
clothesline.
Yeah. I when I was in the call couldn't hear the actual
What?
Okay.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out how to get the audio going, so we just kind of
For
were
a little
watching.
bit, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't
I
just
thought it
you.
was me because
Wait,
I
you
was
couldn't
like
hear it either?
No,
No.
yeah, there was no
Oh,
audio.
damn.
so I
I'm
thought
so sorry
because
about
I was
that. I
on
thought-
mobile. No, you're fine. I thought it was me because I was on mobile and I'm like dodging through Jersey traffic while my wife was driving.
That's
That
what I thought you
explains
were
why you-
driving.
Nah. I wouldn't have jumped in the call if I was driving, but I probably would.
You're like a liar.
But yeah, not that explains why you asked what MJF said.
Yeah, that's what I was trying because
Can
I
they
could
restart the
kind
mouth?
of mouth like some of the
Yeah.
read lips, but like there was a few things. Like, what do you fucking say? Yeah, we'll have to figure that out at some point. How to?
Yeah.
I had to do that with the Amazon video thing when we watched Moneyball, so I can't remember what I did exactly.
It's okay. We'll figure out for the next time. When someone else pays for AEW pay-per-view, that's not me. Jesus Christ, $50 for
Hey,
that
no
shit.
one made you do that. Okay, you
after all the-
chose.
After all the bad things that happened this week.
I
all
get
the
it.
death.
I just
Yeah, no.
um,
Hey, maybe later. If I can't see it in theaters, I will pay for it myself. If the card's good enough.
I imagine we might try to. Is what payback Saturday?
Yeah, payback is
Payback
Saturday. All out
Saturday
Saturday.
and All
Might
Out
try to
is
do.
Sunday.
I guess a watch party of some sort.
Because I have Peacock,
So do I.
So do I.
so
Oh,
we can just
okay.
literally
Just all three
watch
of us
it.
stream it at the same time.
Yeah,
Um,
not like Peacock is one of the worst streaming services of all time.
it's not that bad.
It's
Paramount's not great.
I do miss the independent WWE network
Yeah.
because it was easier to find things.
If you get a VPN and set your location to the UK, you can. You
Oh,
can
is it
still have
only in the UK now?
Yeah. I think they still have it. It's certain
I
countries
thought it was.
still have
I thought it was everywhere that wasn't the US.
It might be.
I think even
don't
like
have a
technically
VPN.
Canada has WWE network
Hmm.
instead of Peacock.
That'd be. We get the shitty version.
Yeah. Well, because it's NBC.
Well, it's only gonna last according to certain reports. It's not gonna last long because it might get roped into whatever their merged network is gonna be
Oh yeah. So
with the UFC. Because they might just move to ESPN or some or make another.
Please don't be
So I was definitely sure CM Punk got hurt during that Samoa Joe fight.
I thought he did it first because he was clutching his knee at the end of the match, and then he did the over rope thing when he leaves the ring.
Yeah, because there's the moment where he does Joe does the signature, I don't fucking care, walk away.
He slipped and
Yeah,
busted
where
his
I'm like,
shoulder.
Yeah.
oh man, that's a bad
I
land.
watched that. I watched it again because when I first, I'm like, did he just
He
slip?
like
But
hit
also-
weird and like
and just no, he plants his foot and just
yeah. That's what I mean. He
falls.
like hit, but like then immediately like
But there's also this weird thing. If you'll probably, I recommend y'all see it. The ramp to the ring in All In was weirdly wet the entire show, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
Because if you see, yeah, if you see like when people are walking, you can see their footprints, and it's like carpet like. And you know how you step on like a wet carpet and your
Yeah.
footprint is just lighter? That is the entire show. I don't know
Hmm.
how it was that soaked the entire show, but that's how it was. So I can imagine that his foot was actually wet and he just slipped.
that's true. And then
Also,
of course he
the
gets put
weird-
through the bottom of the fucking announce table 20 seconds later.
First time, first time I've ever seen that.
yeah, that was a fun spot.
And then Joe
just for him
loses.
to blade under the table,
Well,
because there's no
you
way
know,
that cut him open. There's no
Hey,
way
that cardboard
'Cause
could have gave him a paper cut.
No, because he
you-
goes in like this, covering his head, comes out all the way across his face, is just bloody.
I'd
so it's like
rather
you
him have an
bladed.
excuse to do it off camera than do it like Moxley does in.
Where you can see the blade in his hand.
While you can see him doing this on camera.
Oh, well, he didn't need a blade for the
Oh
Stadium
yeah, he got
Stampede.
fucking toothpick.
Skewers.
So whatever. So,
Um,
I saw that clip of that with Pentagon. I'm like, oh my god, what are we fucking doing, guys?
Now, if you think that's weird, Orange Cassidy punching glass to cover his fist in glass to do an orange punch is
Yeah,
Funny
that's
as
just a
fucking-
roadhouse maneuver right there. It's
no, because he brings in a bucket with the bottle intact and then breaks it in the bucket to the camera and then just like does like fists the bucket.
But isn't the thing like he hurt his hand, so every time he delivers shit like
No, that was like
He-
for a certain. That was like for a certain feud. His
oh okay.
his whole thing as the All Atlantic, no,
It's the international title.
international champion. Yeah, he's been going for so long, and he keeps getting banged up with each defense.
Yeah.
So
He-
basically, he's like
he like
he's gonna be a
squeaks out
mummy.
kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
but he does have the
I'm glad
longest
somebody
reigning
called it out. He called
AEW
it.
championship.
Yeah. He did call it out during the press scrum though about being the international champion, being at an international show.
And not
I-
defending.
it was an odd choice.
Yeah, I guess, but
You could have got rid of that
Yeah.
Darby Sting swerve, and
fuck it, have him defend against Swerve. I would love to see that match run back.
that would have been fine.
Swerve.
Because Swerve Strickland does not get the respect as a wrestler that
No,
he deserves. much.
and this is the guy that doesn't follow AEW as much. Swerve is the guy that was with Top Dollar and
Yes.
Yes.
He was what
God
made
for life
him
me. I
grow.
can't remember. I don't care enough to remember the other guy's name.
Shantae the Adonis
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. Okay, so that's
and BFAB.
BFAB. Oh
Great.
Lord.
So their whole group was based around Swerve, and then he left. So it was like, why are y'all still? How do y'all still work?
So Michael Cole can bitch about it.
Roast him, yeah. But yeah, all in all, I would recommend all in. Hopefully, no one gets suspended or stripped of another title after this.
Yeah, you didn't know there was a backstage brawl match that was after the pay per view.
Yeah,
Or
No,
before
it
the
was
pay per
during.
view. The
It was-
pre-show.
no. It's
was-
mid pre-show because it was
So-
during the. It would have to.
It
if
was right
the
after
reports-
the Jack Perry and Hook
Yeah.
match. Well,
So
right
it-
before the CM Punk and Samoa
So,
Joe
so
match.
to
So-
verify what we're talking about, apparently there's well, I guess it's not speculation anymore. I guess they've confirmed that it did happen.
a
Well,
backstage incident.
That
according to Miro, it didn't happen. but
Well,
that-
fucking-
No. According to Miro, is not the way
that's not the
it
way
was reported.
supposedly
Basically,
CM Punk choked a bitch out, and Jack Perry fucked around and found out.
Yeah, apparently the major report is Jack Perry instigated an altercation with Punk. Miro is saying it didn't happen like that. But this all stems from a glass spot that Jungle Boy, Jack Perry wanted to do to write him off for a couple weeks. And apparently Punk said, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea. Because you can legitimately get hurt. Yeah, you could legitimately get hurt. And what's the point of doing this? You can do easier ways to write yourself off.
Right.
So during his match against Hook for the FTW Championship, okay match. By the way, first time the FTW Championship has ever been defended in another country.
Wasn't that the first time Hook's been back in a while too?
Well, he's been hanging
Or
around
off and on.
Jungle Boy. He's in school, I believe, so his schedule's kind of weird. So they were wrestling. The first part of their match was on a limousine that Jack Perry brought out. He does a move on the limousine, jumps down, slaps the glass front of the limousine, and says, "That's real glass. Cry me a river," to the camera. Apparently, that he's still pissed about it, and apparently that's what led to the backstage altercation. Then Punk had his match. So, according to Tony Khan, they're investigating the issue as of what, around 2 a.m. UK time.
Yeah.
Both men were sent to their hotel rooms, and I guess everyone's on the flight back to Chicago now.
You could say Punk is 2 for 2 on matches that night.
Yeah.
One by a knockout and one by a pin.
Just like last year.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes.
Like, how do you get back to All Out and we're still doing this?
Consistency. Hey,
Yeah.
that's.
Well, we had to get in the spirit for the next All Out. So
Yeah.
Just someone put a muzzle on Ace Steel.
Yeah. Don't bite anybody. I'm gonna
Well,
petition.
he got cash this time. Cash to pull out the Glock.
I'm gonna petition them to change the name to Brawl Out. That would be great.
Oh, speaking of Cash Wheeler with the signs that Wembley had were A1 fantastic. One of the greatest being a CM Punk sign, best in the world at being a little bitch. There was another one mid-match that you could see in the corner saying Pepsi is a soft drink. It's like, huh?
Yeah, technically that's true.
Yeah.
It's a fact, but it's like you're using Pepsi.
I don't think that sign conveys what I think you think it conveys.
No, it conveys exactly what it is.
It does.
I was surprised there wasn't Cash Wheeler signs about him like being a wrestler or some shit.
There was a perfect sign in the hard cam that says "Fear the Revolver."
Fear the Revolver.
It kept popping up every 5 minutes. And it's like, Jesus.
The only way that could have been any better, and I'm surprised somebody didn't think about it, but to do like an old fucking Western Wanted poster with Cash Wheeler, it's like Dead or Alive.
They wouldn't have let that.
Oh my god, that'd have been great. Such a missed opportunity.
But speaking of FTR, they multiple tributes to Bray throughout the show, as FTR had armbands representing
So Jay White,
departed wrestler,
or not Jay White,
no, Jay Briscoe,
Brody
Lee, and Bray Wyatt,
yeah,
as they all passed unexpectedly and early in their life.
And then when House of Black did the lantern.
Yeah, Buddy Matthews of House of Black, during their entrance, brought out the lantern and placed it at their feet as they walked down the ramp as a tribute.
Yeah.
With multiple entrances, when the lights were blacked out, people brought out their phones, and it was noted by commentary that the Fireflies are out tonight in Wembley in respect to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
So,
well,
no matter what company it was, everybody showed their respect.
I do think that is the good good way to end the night, gentlemen. As I said, what can be hey, we kept it an hour 6. Wasn't as much going on. We wanted to pay more of the attention towards obviously the remembrance. So I do want to leave this podcast, and Olas, you like this because I shared it earlier on Twitter this week. I'm gonna leave you guys with probably my favorite Bray Wyatt quote, and it's I am the red in a world of black and white. And I think that's something we should all try to be, is the red in the world of black and white. As always, I am your host Onyx, joined by Fake and Olas. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week, and we will catch you guys in the next episode. See ya.